Got it.
Okay, good. Good morning. I'm Alice Newland, and on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Manatee County, I welcome you to our Hot Topics. We have these Hot Topics on the second Monday of the month for 6 months of the year. Today's presentation, Plastics, Recycling is Not Enough, was arranged by our Natural Resources Committee. After our speakers' presentations, we will be taking questions from chat. So if you have any questions, pop up chat and add it to there. So, now I will turn the program over to our Natural Resources Chair, Stephen Murphy.
Thank you, Alice. I'm very pleased that we are able to host this session. In working with our speakers and putting the presentation together, I realized how personally little I knew about plastics and their impact on us. I think you will find this presentation very informative, and that it will give you actions that you can take both at the personal level and the societal level. We've broken it into two different parts today. One is going to be dealing with how the County of Manatee handles recycling and plastics. And then we will be hearing from Rethinking Plastics on what we as individuals can do both at the personal and societal level, and some of the things that I'm sure none of you know about plastics and how complicated it is. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mary DeJesus, who is a recycling program coordinator in the Manatee County Utility Solid Division. She will give us an overview of what the county does and answer the questions about where the contents of our blue containers go. Mary?
Good morning, everyone. How you guys doing? Thank you for having me. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen now. And I apologize that I have to look this way because I have two monitors, so I have it all on this side. I'm going to share the screen now. And can you guys see that? All right, thank you. So for Manatee County, we have two waste haulers. We have Waste Management and Waste Pro, and the county is divided by the two companies. Once the recyclables get collected at the curbside, is the responsibility of Waste Management and Waste Pro to process the recyclables in at the MRF, and then from there get a third-party vendor to then recycle those items. So once it gets picked up, they process everything. So from there, they go to a MRF processing facility. Waste Management, they have a contract with Single Stream Recycling. They're based off of Sarasota. And then Waste Pro, they have their own facility, the same right by the airport in Sarasota. So from there, you see right here in the presentation, that's the tipping floor. So the truck will drop it off right there at the tipping floor, and then it goes into a conveyor belt. And then from there, it goes into to get separated. So it gets separated manually, and in some cases with single stream recycling, they do it with robots. They have 14 robots that collects all the contamination, the run items that are not supposed to be in the blue recycle cart. So for Manatee County, we base on our 5 recycle items that we recycle, and it's on top of your blue cart. So pretty much is your paper, your plastic, your metal, your glass, and your cardboards. Those are the basic 5 that we recycle in Manatee County. And we ask that it's clean and dry when you put it in your recycle cart. Right here is the flyer that we promote that is pretty much sticks to your basic 5s. So then from there, we have another way of recycling stuff that is our hazardous materials. So here at the Lena Road landfill, you can come Monday through Friday and drop off your hazardous materials from 8 to 5, and every third Saturday of the month from 9 to 3. And you can bring all your hazardous materials, pool chemicals, gas tanks, fluorescent lights, any of those items. used paint, pesticides, and all that. Then we have electronics. You can drop off your electronics Monday through Saturday from 8 to 5 here at the Lena Road landfill. When you come to our facility, this is how we will have the gentlemen come and help you and unload the vehicle. At the house, we ask for your recycle container to be 3 feet apart so nothing gets damaged around the area when the claw truck comes in and empty the cart. So we want to make sure that it's 3 feet apart. And then for your yard waste, we want to make sure that you follow the directions that you can bag it, bundle it, or can it. So those 3 items are your 3 ways of how you can place your yard waste every Wednesday for Manatee County. So that's pretty much our process here. I have a couple of videos that I have here to show you guys. Can you guys see the screen?
We're still seeing your PowerPoint.
Oh.
In order to get out of it, Mary, you have to actually stop the screen share and then go in with a different thing. So you'd have to stop the screen share and then do screen share again and switch to it. It doesn't switch from app to app.
So what about here? Do you see this video with the card coming in?
No, all we see is your PowerPoint. So you're gonna have to stop the screen share, great. And then what you do is
Okay, here we go.
go in again, yeah, perfect.
Single Stream Recyclers of Sarasota is a facility just under 100,000 square feet on 11 acres that processes curbside recycling. The facility is designed to process 50 tons per hour.
Here at Single Stream Recyclers, we are revolutionizing the way we recycle, and we're setting new standards for recycling efficiency. Please join us on a tour so we can show you how we do it.
With a large tip floor that accepts incoming material from the collection vehicles, the material starts its journey of becoming one again. Loaders place the mixed material in the Matheson metering units, which send the recyclables to our pre-sort. After the pre-sort, workers take out material that should not be in the recycle bin. The entire stream lands on the OCC separator. These decks remove the cardboard from all other material. The remaining items are then separated by screens that differentiate by dimension. 2D goes one way and the 3 goes the other. Human labor works along the way to help remove unwanted items in each stream. Optical scanning of paper lines and container lines separates the material with compressed air blast into the respective categories. PET, the number 1 recycle symbol, HDPE, the number 2 recycle symbol, and the remaining plastics with number 3 to number 7 recycle symbol. Our eddy current or high-speed rotating magnet then does its job separating the aluminum cans. Our AMP robotic system, which includes an eye or vision system that tells the brain or computer what and where something is on the belt. The brain then manipulates the hand or arms to pick the certain items to be removed. These robots are so fast they can pick at rates twice as fast as human. This process is the final quality control before items are stored for baling and shipping.
So that's how we use state-of-the-art equipment, artificial intelligence, and robotics to push the boundaries of what we thought.
Okay, and then share again, and then I have another video here. This is how when you come to our facility to drop off your hazardous materials or electronics, this is the process.
Thank you, friends.
All right. Which one is okay?
Here at Single Stream Recyclers, we process approximately 300 tons of recycling per day. 25% of the items placed in recycling bins are not recyclable and are considered contamination. Contamination is when an item that is non-recyclable is placed in a recycling cart with good recyclable items. Those non-recyclable items can ruin a whole group of recoverable and reusable material. Some examples of contamination are containers with liquid or food waste still inside, adult and child diapers, medical waste such as needles, yard waste, tanglers such as cords, wire, rope, fishing line and hoses, metal items other than aluminum and tin cans, electronics, batteries, clothes, wood, styrofoam, and plastic bags and film plastic. Please don't bag your recyclable items and then place them in your cart. Empty your recycling bag into the cart and then throw the bag in the trash. Plastic bags and film plastic are harmful to the machinery and cause system breakdowns. Plastic bags and film plastic can be taken to special recycling stations located at many grocery stores. Here are some tips for recycling correctly. Stick to the basics. Empty all plastic, glass, aluminum, and tin containers. Lids can be left on. Paper and cardboard can be recycled as is, and that's it. Recycling is easy to do and important, and when done correctly, it actually improves how much material gets reused. But remember, when in doubt, throw it out.
And then okay, this is the last video.
Here we have our household hazardous waste and electronic facility for Manatee County residents, where you can drop off your hazardous materials Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, and every third Saturday of the month from 9 to 3. And for electronics, Monday through Saturdays between 8 and 5. And this is for Manatee County residents only and is free of charge. In this facility, we collect gas tanks, televisions, electronics, used paint, flammable, poison, corrosive, used oil, fluorescent lights, and rechargeable batteries. For more information, you can go to mymanatee.org/HHW.
All right, that's pretty much our process here in Manatee County, and that's the inside view of how the recyclables get processed at a MRF.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mary. I really appreciate that thorough overview of what we're doing at the county level to take care of our waste and do recycling. Our next speakers are Jana Hoefling and Kate Dillard. They are the co-founders of Rethinking Plastics, which they started in the spring of 2017. They have been connecting with individuals in Sarasota and the United States, researching, learning, and helping to educate those who are looking for other ways that they can be more sustainable. So I'll turn it over to them. Jana and Kat? Okay.
Hi, everyone. Can you see my screen? And,
Yes.
okay. My name is Kat Dillard from Rethinking Plastic, and Jana Hoefling is here as well, and we're going to kind of tag team this presentation. First of all, thank you all for your time and This is a really important topic, as we've all really begun to realize over the years, especially recently. So thank you again. These are just some stats. And hold on, bear with me.
Pre-pandemic stats.
Yes. There we go. Okay. And as was said earlier, yeah, recycling is not enough. It's amazing what Mary's facility does. It really is. But how can we continue? I mean, that's just such a huge magnitude, and it's increasing daily. So recycling is awesome, but it's not enough. Our group started, as Stephen said, in 2017, and we are a nonprofit, and just volunteers work with us to kind of get the word out, and we especially focus on restaurants and the 5, as you can see in our logo, the 5 items that are most commonly used in the restaurant industry. And as we all know, it's increased recently. We'll talk about that, but polystyrene containers, or any kind of containers that are made out of plastic, cups, lids, and straws, plastic bottles, plastic bags, and plastic utensils. Those are our main focus, and we're trying to help individuals and restaurants, try to minimize that and rethink plastic, basically, or rethink their use of plastic. It's something we all should be doing. It's all you, Jana.
So as you saw from Mary's videos, and our logo, part of our logo is recycling is not enough, because such a small percentage of what plastic we use is recycled. And you can see here all the plastic water bottles. The picture below is of me in shock at the Lena Road landfill at the amount of plastic bags and polystyrene to-go containers, and just so much plastic there that is not being recycled. And there's so many intricacies with recycling, like a red Solo cup can't be recycled, but a clear Solo cup can. So there's just a lot of information that we've learned over the years. We share our information and what we're learning about in different products and different legislation and different opportunities on our social media, on Instagram and on Facebook. At our name is Rethinking Plastic USA on those 2 social media sites. When we were first starting out, we did some experiments with a local composting group to see what actually happens when something is called, to find out the difference between biodegradable and compostable, because of many items that say compostable in a commercial composting facility are actually lined with plastic or lined with a product called PLA, which is a plastic made out of corn, but once it goes through that chemical process, it's plastic and it doesn't break down. So you can see in these pictures, items that we put in the compost, and then we checked them weekly to see how they broke down. And so, yeah, the difference between biodegradable and compostable, they only break down compostables in the right environment. So it has to be the correct heat, the correct moisture, to break down. And a landfill, it's not going to break down until it's 1,000 years old, or there's no air, there's no water, moisture in a landfill. So we need commercial composting facilities to facilitate those products. This is like a coffee cup from, say, Starbucks or some other company, and it goes in with paper on the outside, and on the right, you can see the plastic that's left after the paper's broken down. So this is an important part of the plastic industry. We understand that we need plastic. There are certain items that, of course, we can't do without, but there are many that we can. So that's what we're here to talk about.
So our group does a lot of community outreach and educating as we try to. And we've been at a bunch of Earth Day festivals. Unfortunately, those were canceled in 2020 and not sure if they'll be back in 21, but we'll continue to, try to just kind of spur people on and make them think about it a little bit. We've participated with other groups. This is 4Ocean. They're awesome in what they do and bringing awareness. And also with some schools. This is a school in Sarasota, and they're try to be very, be very renewable and every, so we were reinforcing their mantra and what they stand for in teaching the kids, because it's so important, to start when they're young.
Mhm.
And we've done some field trips, great
me?
facilities. And we saw Mary at the landfill. And again, this was with SSAS, Sarasota School of Arts and Sciences. And the kids were just amazed. It was great to be there with them and see the awe in their eyes at, just what's going on.
So we believe in building a coalition with all of the many organizations across the state and across the country, across the globe, that are working on these same initiatives. And so these are some of them that we're in contact with or work together or share information. Going forward, we think if we're going to have any change on this, we all need to work together. We've worked with the City of Sarasota Commission on reducing the use or putting in regulations to stop the use. The only thing we can regulate is polystyrene on city properties. So that passed in the City of Sarasota, and we've worked with Manatee County and Venice as well. With preemption, they've put a hold on us. Local authorities can't ban plastic because of statewide law. So that's what preemption is. And so in Florida, it makes it really difficult to say ban a plastic bag or ban a straw or any of those things because of preemption. So this in our logo is the bad five that Kat talked about before. This is what we call the bad five. And we have, we work with individuals and personal responsibility, but we also know that we need to address on a larger scale restaurants, because that is where a lot of this is coming from. So we work with the restaurants to find alternatives to these items. And we have information on our website to share with them, to have them switch and be rethinking plastic and go through our program, achieving being bad five free, the starfish, once they get all five, they're bad five free, and we work with them to get that recognition.
This is just going with the bad five free hashtag BFF. This is what we call our BFF bag. And basically you can keep it in your backpack or your purse. And it has a cloth napkin, paper straw, or metal straw, or something like that. This one has a collapsible cup, which is great for like flying or something like that. You just pop it open and they can refill it. And then a spork, which is like a spoon and a fork. So that should cover all of the bad five. And then these are just some best practices that go along with dining out at restaurants or getting takeout. And it's basically just preparing yourself, arming yourself to combat the taking of those things that cannot be recycled and will just stay around forever. So just some suggestions there. So we all know in 2020, the fight got a lot harder just because of COVID and the fact that people were still are doing a lot more takeout. And it's everywhere and it's crazy. And then there's places that the image on the left, you'll see that, I don't know if you can tell, but those are more biodegradable plant-based containers, but the ones on the right are full-on plastic. And I think, Mary, if those are clean, we can recycle them, but a lot of people don't think that, and they just get tossed by the thousands into the trash. And because of, you know, where we're at, it's just gotten a lot harder. And then people don't like, additionally, people don't want you, restaurants don't want you bringing your own stuff anymore right now. We're hoping it'll come back, but they want to give you something fresh and clean because, you know, they don't, and it's understandable, but it's not always, it just got harder, right? So dealing with our waste, there are three main ways. Obviously, the one most popular, the one we all know, is throwing it away. And, you know, away is not really away, but it's going to a landfill and eventually getting buried. And then incineration, which is a multifaceted industry with lots of different nuances. Lots of controversy on that as well, on whether it's good or bad or worse or better than landfilling. And of course, recycling, which we're just doing about 9% of all the waste. And that was pre-COVID, so not sure now. But with China not taking our waste, it's just become very difficult. And then the last item there is extended producer responsibility. That's very exciting. We'd like to talk about that a little bit more. And just some pictures. There's a landfill, pretty daunting. And even that's daunting. And you know, I think it's amazing the technology they've got to sort through all of this. But again, as Mary said, you know, there's so much, what's it called? It's
Contamination.
Contamination, that's it. And you can, you know, see right there, I'm sure if we zoomed in, there would be just things that people throw in there that just hamper the whole process. So, and just going on the incineration, there are several types of incineration. And, you know, ultimately, I'm not an expert, we aren't experts on it, but there's different ways of scrubbing it, and some of them create gases that go into our atmosphere, some of them don't. But it's still not a circular sort of industry. It's still ultimately not the, is not taking care of it, of our waste. And ultimately, we just need to think of a better way to handle it, maybe from the beginning. And that's where EPR comes in.
So EPR is extended producer responsibility, and it's a policy approach which producers are given a significant responsibility, financial or physical, for the treatments or disposal of post-consumer products. This is expanding globally across the, you know, many countries and across our country. And is there next slide?
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Right. So this, and when Jana talks about EPR, it's very cool. And just to get a sort of a personal level to it, we took these photos, and these are like things that are hanging around in my house, and it's only like a fraction, and my husband just goes crazy. But I got little bags of all these things because I can't throw those pumps in the trash, but they cannot be recycled. And you can recycle your fluorescent bulbs at Lowe's, but what do you do with all the other bulbs and the Christmas lights? And then polystyrene is incredibly difficult to recycle. And then you got coffee bags. Those are all coffee bags. And this is just a small tip of the iceberg of all the items that it's really tough for the consumer to take care of.
So extended producer responsibilities, it's been around for a while, and it's very exciting to see what is possible with this practice. Some of the programs regulate hazardous materials, hard to dispose of products. We know that car batteries, that's one of the things, paint, mercury thermostats, carpet pesticides, tires, pharmaceuticals. Dozens of states have programs in place for these items, and many countries as well, because we need to find a place for these items and put the responsibility back on the producers. So around the globe, the EU has just implementing practices, including labeling recycled content, and reducing these things entering into the consumer world, using other items that are recyclable, easier recyclable items, and so that this whole bogged down recycling practice makes more sense. California is doing things. South America has countries. This is the EPR in Florida, in the US. And so it's exciting to see what's coming up in the future for putting the responsibility back on the producers instead of on us.
In Florida, you'll see they're yellow and they have so far just really one item, right, Jana? It's batteries, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only EPR product that we have listed as a must recycle, but there's so much more.
So there is hope for 2021. Everyone in America, regardless of the color of their skin, where they live, or how wealthy their community is, should be able to take a breath or pour a glass of water without ingesting dangerous chemicals and microscopic plastics. Nobody wants to go to the beach and see mountains of single-use plastic waste. And plastic production is a major driver of pollution, accelerating the climate crisis that has already claimed lives and livelihoods in every corner of our country. America was creative enough to invent 1 million uses for plastic. And now we have to use that creativity to clean up our act and design better alternatives. Our kids' health and futures depend on America tackling this urgent problem. And that was Senator Jeff Merkley from Oregon, who is one of the sponsors of new legislation it was introduced in 2020. It's supposed to be reintroduced in 2021. And this bill can make a huge difference in how we deal with plastics. The bill makes producers of products responsible, either fiscally responsible for collecting, managing, and recycling, or composting the products after consumer use. In addition, the bill establishes minimum percentages of products that must be reused, recycled, or composted. And also, very important, increasing the percentage of recycled content that must be contained in beverage containers, because it's cheaper to use virgin plastic at this point than it is to use recycled plastic. So there needs to be a reason to push for the recycled plastic to be used. So the BFPPA, here's the list of everything that is in this act. And it's very exciting. One of the reasons it's so exciting is because many states have, more states than not, have preemption. Like in Florida, we have preemption about recycling, about plastic and banning certain types, or putting any monetary, a price on bags or anything like that. So Florida would just be exempt from having us move forward. So with this national act, a federal act, we could hope for some change in Florida and many other states. So here's the list of items. I'm not going to go over it because you guys can see what the different items in the act.
Additionally, this is something that the BFPPA is going to be a long-term, probably a fight, even though the Democrats are more progressive on these sort of issues, have a majority, even though it's still going to be a fight to pass something like that. But more immediately, this is another thing that about 500 groups came together, and there's an initiative to ask President-elect Biden to be hashtag plastic-free president. And there are 8 items that he can do that we've listed here immediately without any kind of necessity to go to Congress to pass anything. So these groups have asked him to please think about this very strongly. And there is a place where we're going to ask you all, and we'll send you these links, but if you feel so compelled, we would love you to go to this 3rd bullet point here website and just sign on to this if you believe in this. It's really needs everyone's support. He's got to know that this is super important for all of us. So again, we'll put that in the chat afterwards. And
Kat, can we go back to that previous slide?
Yeah.
Someone asked for us to read it. Read the one before.
oh,
So BFPPA would require product producers to take responsibility for collecting and recycling materials, require nationwide beverage container refunds, source reduction and phase out certain polluting products, carry out bag fee, a minimum recycled content requirement, recycling and composting, plastic tobacco filters, electronic cigarettes, and derelict fishing gear, prevent plastic waste from being shipped to developing countries that cannot manage it, protect existing state action, temporary pause on new plastic facilities, also very important because huge facilities are being built currently to use the fracking fracked oil for these plastic facilities. Okay, thanks.
right. So yeah, so these are the 8 things we can do or that President-elect Biden can do. So again, we'll send these lists in these links in the chat. Also, just these are kind of call to actions that we're asking for. That first bullet point is, I know that probably everybody here on this call knows all this because of what this club and organization is about. But this particular first link, if you don't know your local and state legislators, this will very easily just go to that link and you type in your zip code, I think, and boom, it's right there. Add these people to your contacts if you haven't already. Lots of the BFPPA is tons of information out on it, as well as EPR. So we encourage everyone to read up on the issue, see how you feel about it, and we will send those links as well. And then again, there's the plastic-free president. We're going to have a Zoom call on this with some panelists, hopefully in February. And they're from Product Stewardship International, as well as possibly some people, Canadians that are, they're quite a bit ahead of us on EPR and they know a lot about it. So we might have them on our panels. Not sure, we're in discussion about it now, but we're definitely going to have this Zoom call and it's going to be in February. So please go to our website and sign up for our mailing list if you can. And we'll also let Stephen know and maybe he'll pass it on to you guys. And so that's pretty much it.
So there's our website and our Instagram and Facebook name, what our name is on Instagram and Facebook as well. We're very excited about this legislation and about the plastic-free president initiative and hoping that everyone will join in on these 2 very, very important opportunities to make some change. Thank you. Thank you for listening to our presentation. And if anyone has questions.
Okay, this is Steve.
Before you get on, just let me say one thing. and I'll even show my face. Every one of these links, I know they're in chat, but every one of these links, we are going to have posted where we will have the video posted. I would like to get actually your presentation PDF as well. That would be great. So we will have that. And if you're on this call, you are going to be on our distribution list. You can unsubscribe, but you will be on our distribution list. So you will get notice that the next newsletter that comes out of this video and also where all these links are. Okay, thanks, Steve.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, all three of you, for your wonderful presentation. It was so informative. And we have a ton of questions, so I'll start right away. We have a question from Nancy Reed about why do we allow people to put your yard waste in plastic bags, since plastic bags are not recyclable? Maybe Mary, you could answer that, or someone can answer that. Yeah, go ahead.
In Sarasota, on information sent out by the city of Sarasota, they ask for people not to use the black plastic bags. It's not a requirement. It's still up to the individual, but they do ask, because when those things go to be composted, those bags, they just get ripped up and shredded, and they're not standing there opening each bag. So using reusable cans or paper bags is your best option.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, correct. And for Manatee County, we have a lot here inside the landfill, and we break it down by 3 sections. So we have the section with the plastic bags, then we have the ones that are bundled, and then we have the ones that are like when they cut trees and limbs and all that stuff. So what we do is they process it at that lot, and it's a vendor that rents the lot, and they process it, and they have an outlet for those 3 buckets of items to get rid of them through to the farmers and other areas that they sell it with. So it's something that we're looking into for our new upcoming contracts in the future, to start promoting no plastic bag, because we know it's a big problem, but we're not there yet just because we're under a contract. So we have to wait for that. So then we can then start the new phase and ask for no plastic bag. But again, it's going to be so hard because everybody's so used to doing it one way, and then we're going to have to re-educate everyone for removing of the plastic bag. But it's something that we're looking into for the future.
Thank you. A question, I guess from you, Mary. Can city residents use the county facility?
Yes, you can. For what reason? I mean, you can use it for your drop off or hazardous materials and paint. Yes, you're more than welcome to bring your electronics and your hazardous materials to our facility. Yes.
Okay.
For your recyclable at the cart, that has to be through the city office. So if you have any questions with your recycle cart, that will be through them. But your hazardous or electronics, yes, you're more than welcome to come to our facility.
Okay. Should shredded paper be put in the recycling bins?
It's up to your discretion. They're okay with it if you put it in a paper bag and you keep it shredded right there all together, so it doesn't fly away when the can gets dumped. Or you can just leave it as a whole, as a paper in a plastic, in a paper bag. So it's up to your discretion. Everybody choose not to just because of identity theft or whatever, but none of that happens.
Okay.
We were told in Sarasota that it wasn't okay because it just becomes loose, and you saw how they sort things. And so where's that going to go? That's just a mess. So I'm not quite sure where that should go.
We have a question about this. The question is, why can't the medical community go back to sterilizing things rather than having everything thrown away?
Good question.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's a convenience like the rest of us, you know, expeditiousness.
I
Yeah,
think
fast,
so.
fast, fast, yeah.
Can plastic straws be recycled?
No.
No.
Okay.
Or plastic utensils.
No.
Where do recycled products go? What happens to all those aluminum cans and glass and plastic?
So I don't work at the MRF. I don't know that process, but I know that the Single Stream and Waste Pro, they have brokers and different vendors that they sell the product to, depending on what it is. And there's an outlet to it. Even though China put the wall up and is saying we don't accept the products anymore, but there's other outlets that they have found. They have found other areas in Europe, Indonesia, there's some in South America, and even in the United States as well. So there's different outlets. So the stuff that gets recycled in those facilities, the MRF, everything has an outlet and everything comes out that door and they empty their warehouse. Nothing stays behind, nothing gets backed up or that they don't have a way to recycle it. I know the only items that like she referenced before with when you see here the plastic bags or the styrofoams or the other items is because people are not taking it to Publix or to your Walmart or Target. Those have bins in front of the stores that you can take those items so they can get recycled.
Okay, that brings up another question. What happens to all the plastic bags and the styrofoams, things that are dropped off at Publix?
Well, we wanted that as well. We wanted to put a GPS locator on to find out exactly where they go. And
they go to Lakeland, to their main hub, and they have a bail system machine, and they bail them, and they have another outlet of recycling them. I go to conventions and I sit with those folks from Publix, and they assure me that they have a processing system at the Lakeland facility, and that's their main hub in Florida, in Lakeland.
where does Target and Walmart take theirs?
I'm not sure because I don't meet with them in those. They don't. I have never met any of them, so I don't know. But I know Publix makes a present at those workshops, and they always give out a speech and talk about their green initiatives and everything inside their business.
As with all plastics and different products, plastics can only be recycled so many times because they degrade. So if you're thinking about plastic, I mean, using an alternative, bringing your own, using a reusable item is always absolutely best. Carrying it out, carrying a backpack, there's alternatives that we really need to try to use. Aluminum cans and cardboard, recycle away. They just can be recycled over and over and over. But plastics, that's why EPR and this new legislation is so exciting, because it's putting the responsibility back on the person making it to use an alternative or to use an item that, when we heard in Mary's video, it was saying that 1, 2, 3, and 4, those numbers on your plastics can be recycled. Well, there's still 5, 6, and 7 that aren't. They're still being used. So by this legislation, this promising EPR and the other legislation and things that President Biden will hopefully do is putting the responsibility back on these manufacturers to use something that's more sustainable. Even if it is a plastic, make sure it's a plastic that is recyclable. So, and also putting it, making it easier to, or cheaper to use recycled plastic and putting a higher rate on virgin plastic.
Thanks. We have a couple questions about, do we have a list of restaurants that are doing a better job of using recyclable materials or that kind of thing?
So we're based in Sarasota, and that is one of the initiatives, our Bad Five Free, our BFF restaurant program that we had started, and we're getting going before pandemic. And we need volunteers to help us. When you go to a restaurant, let us know which restaurants are using those products that are sustainable, that either will let you bring in a carry out or that use a paper product. because we want to talk to those restaurants or train you to talk to those restaurants to get them on our social media and on our website. We just have a handful on our social media, and we want to promote those restaurants. We want to share that those restaurants are, spending more money to have a better product for their to-go containers because they realize it's really important. So if we could work together and get more of this out there and share more information, that's what we want to do.
Okay, we have a question from Susan Morgan, basically asking, do we know of a community in the US that has been successful at recycling waste and reducing the usage of unrecyclable products?
Reducing the use of unrecycled products. I mean, different states are definitely ahead of us. California obviously is ahead. They're years ahead of us on even just plastic grocery bags and different items. Polystyrene, same thing. The problem is, like I talked about before, the preemption. So many states have preemption. So the state's saying, sorry, you can't do that. And blocking communities like Sarasota, that we were interested in doing that. In Miami Beach, Coral Gables had the huge lawsuit in the past years trying to stop using the plastic bag. So there has been some success in some states. Look at the states that are still doing bottle deposits on their bottles, and so they get returned. I mean, that never should have stopped. So also part of this new legislation, Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act, to turn that around.
We have a question about really educating the public, and the videos that we saw today that Mary showed, is there a way they can be shared more widely? If we could get them and share them and put them on the League of Women Voters website, or other organizations can put them on their website and share, because again, I don't think people really understand the nuances of plastics and recycling. And if they really understood it, I think more people would take action.
And I say, I brought that one up. I think it should be on the TV each night. It should be
Right.
on the news each night.
Yeah.
I would check with the private facility because that's single stream recycling's videos. I use it when I do these Zoom meeting. So I will have to ask them to see if it's something that I can publish out. But I know in our social media, in Facebook, Manatee Recycling page, I try to upload as much information as possible. And then I'm trying to right now working with IT to create a page of educational videos on our website. So then it will have multiple options of different videos that will educate folks about the different stuff about recycling.
Here's a question, an action-oriented question. Is there an effort by the Florida League of Women Voters to curb preemptive legislation? Because that is a big deal. I mean, I just read about the city of Key West wanting to stop hordes of tourists coming into their city every day on cruise ships, and the legislature says we're going to retro.
I can answer that one.
Yes.
I can answer that one. The Florida League promotes and requests and lobbies for home rule, so that yes, every one of these ones where there's preemption, the league has been supporting that, that they allow the local governments to pass laws that make sense for their locality, not to have, that whole thing with straws, it's all of a sudden, this is a big deal for the state legislature to make sure that you don't outlaw plastic straws. So anyway, yes, the league lobbies for it. They are 100% for it. I think we've got time for 2 more questions.
Can I just say something really, really quick? That's why it's so important to that one link that we shared about having your representatives in your contact list, so that it's so much easier to send a quick email to your representatives to let them know, to stay in touch and be really active in letting them know that all these items are important to you. And just like in Key West, when they tried to regulations on sunblock that was safer for the reefs, and again, our legislators were trying to block that. So we really need to have a huge voice for all our communities in the state and in the country, and work together to try to let Tallahassee know how we feel about these things. It's our voice that's going to make a difference.
Right. I have a question here, and I think I know the answer, but I'll ask you all. Does the new legislation have a number, like an HR or a Senate bill number? I'm assuming it doesn't because it hasn't been introduced this year yet.
Correct. All we have is last year's.
Yeah, we have last year's.
And if you could put that in, send so people can refer to that, and then that way, because it'll be the same bill with a new number, right?
Right.
I guess that's it. I will. We have many more questions, but I really want to thank our presenters today, and I want to thank all the attendees. This was a very educational meeting. I personally have learned so much about this. It's changed my behavior. You know, I now purposefully look, if I'm going to buy things, I buy them in glass or in aluminum. I will not buy anything in a plastic container at all.
You've lined me up to embarrass my husband more. I'm gonna be carrying little, when we eat out, we frequently have things to take back. I'm going to start bringing plastic containers to take our leftovers back. He's gotten used to being embarrassed.
You can also ask them at restaurants, ask them to wrap up your little tidbits in aluminum foil. Most restaurants have aluminum foil, and just ask for a piece. And I wrap it up myself when I forget my container, back in the old days when I was going to restaurants. So
sometimes they say they don't have it, but maybe in order not to embarrass them, I'll ask for it in aluminum foil. And then if they say they don't, then I pull out my plastic container. So yes, this has been really a great presentation. We're really happy. I'd like to remind everybody that our next Hot Topics is Monday, February 8th at noon. And that's going to be dark money in Manatee County. If you want more information on that, the speakers, or you would like to join the Manatee League of Women Voters, just go to our website. That's www.lwvmanatee.org. So thank you, everyone.
thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.